today? I hope you're doing well. Today it is Florida Woman Friday, and we're going to break down the best of the crazy from the Sunshine State. Today we're digging into some Adelson Clan drama. Stefan Sterns is moved to a so-called Cupcake Prison, and Sarah Boone is losing her 13th lawyer. Plus, we're bringing in some brand new Florida woman cases that you don't want to miss. So stick around. I'm rolling credits while the rest of the Power crew and our Power Dragonflies navigate in. Big shout out to our Power Dragonflies and the whole Power crew. Your support makes this all possible, and I really, really do love you for all that you do.
Carefully strumming his old guitar again. Words rolling out into our fire. If heaven had wings, I would steal them and fly away with you for a while. Hearing the essence of gratitude, your dreamy little smile on my lips. I miss my cue, but baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day.
Here in the essence of gratitude, I get to be here with you for another Florida Woman Friday. It's where we cover all the crazy in the Sunshine State. I am in the Sunshine State, and I love to talk about these cases. So let's get into it. But before we get started, if we could just start that algorithm dance party that I like to do, just start warming up your fingers and dancing them right up to the hearts and thumbs up button. Helps us go out into the algorithm, party out there, bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out, and it's really, really appreciated. Today, we do have a sponsor. We have Wild Deodorant helping us out. Fall is here, Power Crew, and I do love me some fall. It means cozy nights, creepy stories, and the kind of chills that can also make your body temps rise. Thankfully, I've teamed up with Wild Deodorant, the refillable, all-natural deodorant that actually works. No tricks, just treats. With scents that slide right into autumn like cedar, vanilla, and warm spice, Wild keeps you fresh no matter how spooky the night gets. Plus, it's eco-friendly and refillable, and I just love all of that. So you can stay weird and sustainable. It's a win-win for me, and you can grab 20% off your first purchase at shopwildrefill.com/ParaWomen, and you can use our code ParaWomen at checkout, and you will get 20% off. So stay cozy, stay creepy, and stay wild this fall. And a huge thank you to our sponsor and anyone who decides to give it a try. I've put the code here on the screen. I've put it in chat, and I will put it over in the YouTube show notes. I will put everything we watch and view over in our YouTube show notes. I do this for fair play use as well as citing our sources. Today, we're coming to you on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So, hi, everyone. Okay, here we go. So Florida Woman Friday. Last week, we covered all of these cases, and this week, we're basically giving you a little update on it all. First up, we're going to talk about Stefan Sterns because it does look, last week we reported that Stefan Sterns is the Florida man who used and abused 13-year-old Maddie Soto from the age of 8 to 13 and ultimately ended up unaliving her. He got a plea deal and he was sent to Appalachia State Prison in Florida, but that didn't last for too long. He actually, it's being reported that he got like a sweetheart deal, and for some reason they moved him on over to a Cupcake Prison. So we're going to take a look at it. This is one of the new channels that we've been watching, True Crime with Straight Eyes, and we watched him a little bit last week, and I do like him, and he's making a good point. And we will, what we do here is we don't watch everything in its entirety. We stop and start things. I talk over it, or I don't read everything, but I do put everything over in the show notes. We do it for fair play use. And he, in this video, he's making great points. He's making points about these sweetheart deals that these people are getting. And he mentions Brian Koberger, but then he goes in and he talks about Sarah Boone, how she shot herself in the foot and didn't get that kind of sweetheart deal. But here we are over with Stefan Sterns getting this deal where he isn't even having to tell once again what he did. He's just only having to say, yes, I did it. And now he's being put into this comfy prison because he's so high profile and everybody hates him for what he did. Because I believe, and you know, everything is my opinion, my research. We urge you to go out there and do your own, and we welcome other opinions. We don't want to be stuck in our algorithm where everyone thinks like we do, because I really believe that's what's happening in our world, and why people are getting shot for having ideas. Well, I might not agree with those ideas. I certainly don't think people should be shot for them, but we stay in our own algorithm and we don't get out and we don't see other world views. But anyway, so he's getting this sweetheart deal, and it's happening all over the board, and it makes no sense to me. And he is pointing this out. And so we're going to jump into where he is. He's just now getting done talking about Koberger and bringing it back to Stefan Sterns.
To get what I'm putting down. A little bit before this happened, a few months before Koberger was sentenced, and I said that this is the archetype of what Stefan Sterns is going to get. This interview,
when he saw what Koberger got, he did make the prediction that, you know, Stefan Sterns is going to get a little sweetheart deal too. And a sweetheart deal means to me, like, I feel like when you, I have to dance around words because of YouTube, but when you abuse a child in an X type of way, you're stealing their soul. And for me, I believe that you're done. You don't just accidentally slip up and harm a child in that way. That's a preconceived, planned way of doing it. Even if you are under the influence, it takes a certain kind of person to do that kind of thing. And I believe you deserve life in prison at the very least. So if the death penalty has to be issued, if you were abusing a child from the age of 8 to 13, and then you unalive her, who better to receive that type of penalty? What is the penalty created for, if not that? Or Brian Koberger, who unalived 4 young people in their sleep. Or who else just got out? There's a few other people that just got out of the D penalty. Lori Vallow, you know, like, just people are getting out of it. And why do we have it? Just get rid of it if we're not going to use it. That's what I say. Either we have it and we use it, or we don't. But these type of people definitely deserve to be in prison for life and not in a comfy, cushy prison. So he's talking, and then he goes into talking about Jen Soto, which Jen makes me so angry. When we get into the Donna Adelson, we're going to be talking about Wendy. Like, when is Wendy going to be charged? Well, when is Jen going to be charged in this case? I bet you she's not going to be charged.
Happened that really made me understand the true character of William J. Because in my experience, I'd never, ever, ever heard of a prosecutor doing a proffer with a defendant or a witness or somebody who could possibly be a co-defendant without knowing what the person was going to say before they actually said it. Like I told you guys, there's a lot of gentleman-like conversation and gentlewoman conversation that happen off the record between prosecutors and defense attorneys, where the truth kind of comes out so that they can make deals for their clients. You can't use it in court. It's never existed, but it's like, Wink, wink. My person might be able to give you this if you give me that, right? That's usually the conversation that happens before proffers. But William J. gave Jennifer Soto a proffer, limited immunity, without knowing what she was going to say. So
and this woman didn't even show up to court the day that Stefan Sterns was, convicted and passed down, and she didn't give any witness statement. I mean, what kind of mom is that? Oh.
Listen to the beginning part of this so we can understand why we're at where we're at right now.
In Kissimmee, it's 8:57 a.m. It is April 18th, 2024. I am William J. I am the division chief for the homicide unit. With me is Danielle Pinnell.
Hold up. Who did he say he was?
Dirt under the bridge.
Mr. Dirt under the bridge. Okay, we got the right video. Let's keep playing it.
Also from the homicide unit in Kissimmee. Can the detectives identify themselves?
Detective Mark Morris.
Detective Kyle Smallwood. And with us is
Jennifer Soto.
With your attorney, Matthew Hughesborg. All right. We went over some things before we went on the record and told you had the opportunity to ask any questions that you need to ask. If you need a break to consult with your attorney, that is absolutely fine. We'll all step out of the room, turn off our recorders, and let you exercise your constitutional right to have counsel. There's no problem with that. There's water fountains here. There's restrooms. I don't know if you're a smoker or not, but if you get desperate, we can make an outside break time. But somebody
said that Jennifer Soto had an award-winning former prosecutor. I mean, I didn't know that. I don't know all the politics of Florida, but just from hearing how he was handling William J. in this proffer interview, I knew that he was commanding the room. And I also told you guys when I did my analysis of this video, check that out in the archives, I said, I've never been in a proffer where the defense attorney was basically controlling the tempo of the interview. Usually the defense attorney is just there silent because it's agreed upon that the person has to answer all the questions truthfully and they have immunity. Nothing they say can be used against them. So therefore the attorney's like, okay, we're here. And then he shuts up in the corner. And then you basically interview the subject or the witness or whoever like you pretty much own them. Because once again, they're given immunity. So there's no reason for them to have any protection. There's no nothing. You give it all up because guess what? You're protected. You're never going to be prosecuted for what you say. So I could see how
he's basically telling us that Jen is never going to be prosecuted because she was given this immunity right up front before they even knew what she had to say. So let's keep going on. And he talks about, he said after hearing this, he just knew that Stefan Sterns was going to get this sweetheart deal.
Thing you said that was inconsistent in the past. Okay. So when I saw that, I said, man, listen. This guy made a deal with Jennifer Soto, bro? For reals? I was like, hold on here. Jen was unemployed for most of Maddie's life. Jen was sleeping in the bed for most of Maddie's life. And Stefan Sterns has thousands of images destroying this young woman from age 8 all the way until 12. And of course, we all know that she was taken away from us a few days after her 13th birthday. I said, how is it possible that Jen didn't know or have an idea that this was happening? Why would you be so quick to make a deal with her? What's going on here? Well, then, after.
Well, and when I have heard this argument made, I've heard people say, well, Jen was a substance abuser and that makes you less aware of things. Yeah. But you still are aware that when you're sending your daughter up to sleep with your boyfriend, that something might happen when you make comments about, I don't want to be Woody Allen. And for those that don't know what that reference is that Woody and Mia Allen, and Woody did what he did to Mia's adopted daughter and now is married to her and reportedly also SA'd their own daughter. I think her name is Dylan. So, yeah.
All this stuff happened. And after I told you guys that Stefan Sterns' guilty plea would be the archetype of his guilty plea was basically Brian Kohlberger called it out. Then weeks later, he's pleading guilty. This happened.
Thank you. Let's place Mr. Sterns under, he's been previously placed under oath.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to make a brief statement. I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around, a world which feels less vibrant and less colorful than it did before. I've prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead. And unfortunately, that's just not how he works.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well, and she truly was a joy.
Enrages
I
me.
pray to God that she is in heaven and that he's taking good care of her. And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice.
Shut up.
I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory.
I laugh because it's such big bullcrap. That's basically it. Let's listen to that again. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to hear it again. It just enrages me. So he's talking about the sweetheart deal that Stefan got. And so then he goes in and he starts talking about the first prison that our Steffi Sterns was sent to.
So let me pull it over here. FDC, Florida Department of Corrections, has 134 facilities statewide, including 49 major institutions, 16 annexes, 7 contractor operators, goes through the whole thing of their structure. These facilities incarcerate felons convicted and sentenced for more than a year. These inmates are transported from a county jail and enter the system through one of 4 male or 1 female reception centers strategically located throughout the state. Upon arrival at a reception center, this is important, guys. This is very important, because this shows you that, in my opinion, I have no evidence of this. This is just my opinion, that there was a deal struck. We know that there was a deal struck because Stefan Sterns pled no contest to all the crimes he committed against Maddie and was given life without the possibility of parole. But we don't know every stipulation of that deal. And prosecutors can make recommendations to the Department of Corrections, which they oftentimes do honor. And I think it would not be a stretch for Sterns to say, my life is in danger. I've got a target on my back.
Sort of like what Letitia Stout did when we heard that prison phone call where she referenced Chris Watts, where she wanted to be sent where Chris Watts was, where it was safe, cushy, and comfy. So
I would like to go to nice prisons. Now, listen to this important part. Upon arrival at reception center, an inmate is processed, tested, evaluated by health services, assessed for program needs, and his/her custody security risk is determined. This is exactly like New York State prison system, especially that last part, his/her custody, which means security risk is determined. Custody is determined, keyword, listen to this. Custody is determined by reviewing the seriousness of their offenses, length of sentence, time remaining to serve, prior criminal record, escape history, prison adjustment, and other factors. This is exactly like New York State Corrections, so I'm very familiar with this.
And it would make sense that they would put him somewhere like comfy, cozy, because I don't think he had much, if any, prison or criminal record. Although look what he was doing for all those years. And he is probably pretty hated. He committed the bottom of I think the lowest of the offenses that, and they were saying already he was going to this Appalachian prison and he was going to be somebody's prison wifey, probably. When Stefan was sent to the first place he was sent to, he immediately said, I want to be in protective custody. So, he did the same thing the minute he hit Appalachian. And they were saying that, that the Appalachian would only let him be in protective custody for so many months. And then they were going to say, you got to fly, little birdie, fly out there and see what happens. And it looks like he got his way and he got transferred.
If you come into, all right, well, let me finish this before I get.
Let's go forward.
In New York State prison system.
So it looks like he's been transferred to a new unit for mentally ill inmates at the Wakulla Correctional Institute.
He was already in a minimum medium prison, even though Schmurda to top it off on 2/25/2024. And then what do they do, ladies and gentlemen? They send him here to Wakula Correctional Institution Annex. He was already in a minimum medium prison, even though he's a max security inmate.
That's interesting. They sent
He was
him
already
to a medium, even though he unalived a 13-year-old girl that he had been SAing for years. And to them, that's not, because his target audience isn't in prison, so nobody's really in danger. Now, are they? But he still deserves to be in a maximum, at least for the first few years. I mean, really.
in a cupcake prison, but it wasn't cupcake enough for Stefan Sterns. He was already in a cupcake prison, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying it was perfect. There's going to be some guys that did time in that prison. Like, well, it ain't that. No.
I don't think it was that cupcake. I think it was pretty, like, well, I mean, we did look at it, and as far as prisons go, it looked like a prison. So I don't know.
Ice.
But there was a prisoner that was evaluating it that had been there, and he said it was not a cupcake prison. But and he also said it depended on where they would put Stefan, if he was in danger or not. He said if they put him in the R dorm, he was like done, and if they put him in a different dorm, he would be fine.
Max. It's not a super max. It's not the roughest prison in Florida.
But now he gets to hang out with mentally ill people. It means so he gets to hang out with mentally ill people. That's just wonderful.
And that houses minimum and medium security prison inmates. And then they sent him to Cupcake Land. New unit for mentally ill inmates opened at Wakula Correctional Institution Annex. The Florida Department of Corrections has opened a specialized...
Well, let's go ahead and read this ourselves. The Florida Department of Corrections has opened a specialized unit to treat mentally ill inmates at Wakula Correctional Institute Annex. The new residential continuum of care treatment facility is made up of housing units that provide safer and more effective treatment for inmates with serious mental illness. The agency announced Wednesday. I wouldn't say he has serious mental illness. He's got a serious mental deficiency and a spiritual issue. They have found I don't think they've ever cured what Stefan Sterns has. I don't think it's ever been cured. What they've done in Florida is created a whole community where they've sent them away and where they have to live. And I don't think it's ever been proven that anybody has been cured of what Stefan Sterns has. And why should he take a bed up in a facility with somebody who has real mental illnesses that could really benefit from it, instead of sticking somebody who stole a child's soul in there and under the guise of mental illness? It's just ridiculous. The facility is a testament to the department's continuing commitment to better serve inmates with severe mental illness. FDC Secretary Julia Jones said the housing unit will not only create a safer environment for officers and fellow inmates, but they will better prepare these inmates for reintegration into the general population, which he never has to worry about. Hopefully they won't ever put him back out there, and communities upon release. So yeah, they're putting Stefan Sterns in with the mentally ill for some reason. The RCC provides evidence-based mental health services to reduce symptom severity and improve behavioral functioning. In addition to having an emotional support, Stefan Sterns is going to have, I'm going to be outraged. They're giving him a dog. They're giving Stefan Sterns a dog. I just need to digest this for a moment. This makes me so angry. The RCC features a wide range of programs, including art therapy, music therapy, adult basic education, and life and employability skill training. Groups and clubs include a readers theater for inmates to read plays aloud, poetry group, and wellness group. Stefan Sterns gets all of this. The facility is made up of 4 dorms and houses approximately 540 I mean, we've got to figure out how this can not continue with stuff. And is anyone else outraged? I think that I'm going to write to somebody about this. I mean, I think I might have to Karen up on this one. The 16 million in funding for the RCC and 104 additional positions to staff the specialized unit was recommended by Governor Rick Scott. This is in Florida? By approve. Well, I think this is wonderful for people that are going to be put back out into society. Yeah, wonderful. But Stefan Sterns isn't being put back out into society. He's being hidden in a cushy cupcake place. I'm so mad. I am so mad. I'm so mad. Ah. Okay, well, this is one of those ones where I guess we're just going to have to do something about it. And I guess we'll have to write somebody. I mean, because what the Hades? What the hell, yeah? Ugh. All right, but we're going to move on because I'm just repeating myself. I'll just be sitting here going, ugh, what the heck? I'm so angry about it. But all we can do is talk about it and maybe write a letter about it. But yeah, so let's move on. Our next case we're going to talk about is Donna Adelson. You guys wanted me to, last week when we talked about Donna, you guys wanted me to do a little thing where we talked about the whole clan and we introduced everybody in the Donna Adelson clan. So I thought I would do that, and then we're going to look at some more stuff. So the Donna Adelson clan refers to the wealthy Florida family of Donna Adelson, the matriarch, who was recently convicted for her role in the 2014 murders. So and it was for the 2014 unaliving or the murder for hire of her former son-in-law, Dan Markle. Several other family members have been implicated in the conspiracy, which stemmed from a bitter custody dispute between Wendy Markle and Dan Markle and his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson. The key members of the family is Donna Adelson. She's the matriarch who was just convicted in September 2025 for orchestrating the plot. She was found guilty of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. Then there's Charlie Adelson. That's Donna's son and Wendy's brother. He was a podiatrist who was convicted in 2023 for being the mastermind who hired hitmen to carry out the unalivings. He is currently serving a life sentence. And then there's Wendy Adelson, Donna's daughter and the ex-wife of the victim, Dan Markle. She's an attorney who testified for the prosecution under a grant of immunity. While not charged, prosecutors have referred to her as an uncharged co-conspirator. The motive for the unaliving was that Adelson's family desire for Wendy to move with her children from Tallahassee, Florida to South Florida, which Markle was fighting in court. Then there's Harvey Adelson, Donna's husband, a retired dentist. While not charged, he was identified by prosecutors as a conspirator. He was with Donna when she was arrested while attempting to flee the country in November 2023, shortly after Charlie's conviction. People kind of murmur about him, but not full out like they do Wendy calling for her conviction. And then there's Rob Adelson. This is Donna's eldest son. He's a doctor. He's estranged from his family. He's been estranged for years. He testified for the prosecution during Donna's trial. He described his mother as controlling and said the family tried to cover up their involvement after the unaliving. we're going to take a look at this article. Meet the Adelson's family, Donna, Charlie, Wendy, and Robert's role in the trial. Oh, shoot. Is this one of those ones where I have to do? I think it is. Oh, wait. Maybe it isn't. I hate these ad blockers. The unaliving of Professor Dan Markle in 2014 is like a modern day Shakespearean tragedy. Donna Adelson now was, this is, when was this written? I think it was written a week. It was written, oh, this was August. This is just before she went, the start of the trial, August 22nd. So we know she's been found guilty now, but Donna stood trial for the murder of her former son-in-law, Dan Markle. It's possible that 4 members of the Adelson family will testify in this high-profile unaliving case. Donna, Charlie, Wendy, and Robert may raise their right hands, which they did. How and why did this successful and well-educated family find themselves in this situation? How do these family members fit into a diabolical plot that led 2 paid hitmen in an affluent Tallahassee neighborhood to assassinate a renowned law professor? Well, let's meet the family. Donna Adelson was a doting grandmother or manipulating matriarch. The mother and doting grandmother of 2 beautiful grandkids finds herself fighting for her freedom in the Leon County Courthouse due to what prosecutors say was a controlling and desperate desire to have her divorced daughter Wendy and her grandchildren relocated from Tallahassee to South Florida. Prosecutors say the matriarch of the family orchestrated and directed her loyal son Charlie to hire hitmen to unalive Markle. After 14 years of waiting for justice, the state of Florida will introduce evidence aiming to prove Donna's involvement. Charlie Adelson is a convicted mastermind, be his mother's best hope. Well, many have said that he actually did her in, like the craziness from his trial leaked into Donna's trial, and it didn't help Donna. Charlie Adelson, a well-educated and prosperous South Florida oral surgeon, can you imagine also having that was your dentist? Like, yeah, he worked on my mouth. He's crazy. He orchestrated a hit. That was my dentist. Yes, sir. That was mine. Is a convicted unaliver and was sentenced to life imprisonment for the unaliving of ex-brother-in-law. Prosecutors allege the steep and dramatic fall from living the high life in South Florida was a result of the controlling actions of his mother, Donna. A jury determined that Charlie voluntarily directed his ex-girlfriend, Katherine Magbanua, to hire hitmen to kill Markle in Tallahassee, enabling his sister and her kids to relocate to South Florida against Markle's wishes. When a $1 million bribe was rejected by Markle's prosecutors, maintained Donna and Charlie ordered and paid for Markle's gruesome unaliving. Unbeknownst to Charlie, he hired 2 inept assassins to commit the unalivings. In addition, Charlie's girlfriend, whom he later put on the payroll at the family dental clinic, tied him directly to the 2 hired assassins after the convictions of the killers, and the girlfriend, Charlie, was arrested and convicted for his role in the murder. Charlie now has been listed as a witness, and he did show up. We've got some stuff we're going to look at him getting Wendy's and thanking the good sirs for giving him some fast food. He's just grateful for getting some Wendy's these days, which, I mean, how far have you fallen when you're grateful for Wendy's? But it seems doubtful that a different jury in the same community will believe a defense that was so soundly rejected in his own trial. And then Wendy Adelson, the ex-wife of Dan Markle, compelled to testify against her brother and mother. She didn't want to testify in her mother's trial, but the judge said, "Oh, yes, ma'am, you will be testifying. Thank you. And please sit down and let's go." And she did. And she had to testify in all 4.
and people want to know if Wendy's turn is next. Her testimony was compelled. Wendy didn't want to be in Tallahassee and certainly does not want to be offering evidence that will prove problematic of her mother's defense, but she did. As with Charlie, Wendy's testimony could contribute to a damaging portrait of her mother, which it did, and provide the state evidence of. I felt like in Donna's trial, Wendy tried to do a little save your own butt, but it didn't work. And gave a little bit more of her mother than she did in her brother's trial. But it is Shakespearean that the alleged beneficiary of the crime could be the most damaging witness for the state against her own mother. Unfortunately for her, Wendy has no choice but to testify, and did in Donna's trial. So Robert Adelson, which I had totally forgot about Robert until the trial. I knew a little bit about this case, but I forgot that there was another brother. And he's estranged, and Robert Adelson is the estranged brother of Charlie and Wendy, and a respected doctor who was reportedly excommunicated by the family due to his independent thinking. Imagine that. Independent thinkers get excommunicated from families. It happens all the time, right? He chose to lead a life of his own choosing, including his spouse. Court records, however, suggest Robert is aware of the family dynamics and allegedly controlling nature of his mother and his siblings' lives. It is a twist of fate that the son who went out on his own may be called to testify, which he was, and it was very damaging for Donna. In a final Shakespearean twist upon the death of their father, Wendy's two sons were taken to South Florida. They have little, if any, communication or contact with their parental. I was just wondering if they have any contact with their parental grandparents. Their entire lives have been altered in an unimaginable way. If it is as their father has been erased from their family history, their mother changed their last names from Markle to Adelson, even changing their middle names. Oh my gosh. Completely voiding any connection to their father. That is horrible. As such, in a true Shakespearean plot, the boys may forever carry the family name of a family member that orchestrated and committed the unaliving of their father. Actually, they're carrying the name of two family members now. A jury will decide whether the tragedy will include the grandmother, which it did. It absolutely included the grandmother. So that's the cast and crew for the Adelson Clan. Tanika's Two Cents is one of my favorite channels, and she had a follow-up on where the girlfriend is these days. So I thought we would do as an added bonus, where is
lovelies, how are you? I hope you are well. I hope you are as lovely in life as you are in my mind. And if you're not quite there, it's okay. Every day is not meant to be a good day, but I hope it gets better for you.
And you know, if you know Tanika, she really means that. And that's why I like her so much.
All right. The $1 million question. Where is Katie? Where is Katie? Here I am. Here I am. You can't even see the little this shot heard around the world. There was an email and text that went out from Vine earlier this week. We were talking about it in my chat during a premiere of Sarah Boone. Yes, we don't stay on topic always in the chat. We're not that kind of bunch. So I just want to go over it, how she left Wakulla, why it's at Leon County, and then I have all of her deets for a little bit of the time she spent at Wakulla, because I got this report right after she testified, I think. So we'll go into like who she called, some pen pals. What? Yes.
Wakulla, looks like we've got a little overlap with Stefan Sterns and Katie.
What she ordered, things she asked for, you know, You know how I like to be in people's business because I'm nosy. But first, we're going to run the intro. I'm going to thank the members. I'm going to
I
thank you for being
appreciate
here.
that. I'm somebody who likes to know what people are doing in prison, and I like to get in the business as well. So if you're somebody that likes that too, here we go.
Happens that it's not showing her there. So I did a little bit of digging because, you know, I'm nosy like that. And so this is what I came up with.
So glad to see you, Diva.
Can I make that bigger? Yeah. Little finger stretch. So, oh, now I can't scroll though. There we go. Katherine, her race is white on here. It changes from each section, I swear. Anyway, so this was disabled, but on September 8th, it says custody, Leon County Sheriff's Office. Well, she was at Wakulla on favor the way that Donna was when we looked her up over there, right? So I believe it just means she went back into the care, custody, and control of Leon County because
she came to testify, so they probably just had her for a bit, like kind of like when Lori Vallow went from Idaho to Arizona and then went back from Arizona when she was convicted in Arizona back to Idaho. They were just lending them out. That's all.
They were transporting her, not that she was physically in the jail, because you see how it says here she was transferred at 3:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
And we've had a few prisoners, ex-prisoners on and ex-prison guards on, and they mentioned that that's a big tactic where they take them out in the middle of the night. They don't tell you that they're going to pull you so that nobody knows what they kind of do it under the cover of darkness. Nobody can escape or have an escape plan already pre-planned. So, yeah.
And then it says location, Leon County Sheriff's reporting agency, Wakulla, because that's where she was released from. And then we'll go to her related records. So remember 3:40 a.m. Let's see her picture there. Kitty has really great bone structure. She's a beautiful young lady there.
She is beautiful.
So she got to Lowell Annex at 9:41.
What the heck was she doing with Charlie?
a.m. on the 8th. So they likely just drove her directly from Wakulla to the Lowell Annex, right? So technically she's in the custody, care, custody, and control, she was, of Leon County without ever actually physically being at the Leon County jail. Does that make sense? And they probably had a transfer order. So I have this document, you know, you never know when these documents will come in handy. But I have this one. This is an order to transport. This is a document.
So it looks like she was transport. Let's keep going on and see what else she's got.
So here's her communication. And I put page 39 because we have another sheet that I want to, like her visitation sheet, I want to show you.
It's really, Tanika's very good at getting visitation and getting call logs. We did a few lives with her where we read off Sarah Boone and the woman that spoke in her trial, Lana's back and forth correspondences. So she's really good at getting this kind of information. She's good at getting commissary phone logs. She's really good at her research.
Who this person is. So this is from K-Mag on 8/28 at 8:47 p.m. Ms. Kepper, my pastor, Lee Jameson, turned in an application in order to do video visits and was rejected. Is there a reason why as to how this happened and what can he do to fix it? ? Chaplain Barry has his info as well. And since he wanted to come to the facility to do clergy visits, but wasn't an option to do so, video visits was the next best thing. Please advise, I think she means advise, what to do in this matter. Thank you for your help, ! And Susan Caper comes back. He submitted a driver's license that expired in 2023, ! I'm aware that he's a pastor and all, but he must have a current license, right? Have him resubmit it and he'll get approved. And
so
then
like her pastor had an expired license. So anyway, if you want to look at it, we will put the link down there. Let's keep going on. We have more from Tanika a little bit later when we talk about Sarah Boone, because she's really good at covering the Sarah Boone case. So, okay, so let's keep on going. A juror in Donna Adelson trial reveals how they arrived at the guilty verdict. So I thought we'd take a look at that.
Jury that recently convicted Donna Adelson on 3 charges, including first-degree murder. I'm Mayor Sargent in downtown Tallahassee. One juror opens up about the deliberations that took place behind closed doors to reach the verdict that decided her fate. Donna Adelson's fate was decided by 12 jurors in just about 3 hours.
The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder.
Guilty on all 3 charges, including first-degree murder for the death of her ex-son-in-law and former FSU professor Dan Markell. One of those jurors, juror number 6, Evan Higginbotham, played a key role in those deliberations, where he says jurors methodically went through each count to decide on the verdict.
Going in, I was leaning towards guilty after seeing all the evidence laid out. For count 1, we spent probably the first hour, 45 minutes or 2 hours of our 3 and some change that we were in there just talking about the first count and laying out all the evidence and digging through everything that we wanted to go back and look at again.
Evans says the reason for that guilty verdict, the evidence, pointing to Rob Adelson, the estranged son of the family's testimony, phone records, and the bump operation.
Hey, go. Just want to give you this.
When an undercover agent blackmailed Donna to see what she knew about the murder.
The operation happened and she was handed that sheet of paper. Just taking the paper and putting it straight into her bag without looking at it. I'm not taking anything from anyone and putting it in my bag before looking at it.
Did you have discussion about any other suspects in that room?
Not really. We briefly spoke about Wendy Adelson, but she's not the one on trial. So we tried to stay focused and follow the jury instructions and stay only discussing Donna's part in this.
Donna Adelson is the 5th person to be convicted for the murder of Markell. There's been lots of speculation on whether Donna's daughter and Dan Markell's ex-wife, Wendy Adelson, could be arrested next. I spoke with State Attorney Jack Campbell to see where prosecutors stand with the case.
We will continue to work and make sure that every person who is responsible, we can hold them accountable. Now, I can't predict where that will lead us right now, but I can guarantee you that we're not stopping looking at the evidence.
Because of this experience, Evan, whose
My question is you know how at the beginning we were talking about all the immunity that was given, how Stefan Sterns and Brian Koberger, sweetheart deal, Jen was given the immunity before they even heard what she had to say. Was Wendy given immunity? Everything that she said to the police officers was that, we can't charge you with that. So is it possible that they can't go after Wendy because they know too much and all these backroom deals, from the backroom deals, they know too much and there would be no way for them to prove that they didn't hear it in the backroom deals? And if they heard it in the backroom deals first, would it be possible to even prove later on if evidence came up? Does that make any sense?
"12 attorneys who..." Lots of things come in 12s, like roses, donuts, the hours on a clock, 12 angry men, 12 apostles, and now 12 attorneys who represented Sarah Boone. That's right. Her most recent appellate attorney has withdrawn from the case. And believe it or not, the reason is not her. Shocking, I know. The reason is he accepted a new job with...
Yes, friends, we're moving on to Sarah Boone, and she lost her lawyer number 13. Yes, indeed she did. And yes, exactly, Steph D. Wendy, tell Dan Markle's Ben and Lincoln the truth about your support to have their father unalived. It's just, I didn't realize even that she had changed their names. That's disgusting. And that shouldn't, but, oh God, I'm outraged. I'm outraged about Stefan Sterns. Now I'm outraged about the changing of the names. What am I going to be? I doubt Sarah Boone's going to do anything that outrages me. She just does shit that makes me laugh because she's so ridiculous. She's like the ridiculous one in this whole lineup for today. Although the new cases that we look at are pretty crazy too. But yes. I guess I'm outraged about Wendy. I don't think she's going to be charged, because I don't think, after learning what we learned about Stefan and all the backroom deals, I don't think it's going to happen. But getting back to Sarah Boone, she just surpassed lawyer number 13. Yes,
the
she
Attorney
did.
General's office. Still, I feel that all 12 of them deserve some kind of special recognition or hazard pay for tolerating her as long as they did, because she just might be the most difficult client ever. You see, the problem with Sarah is that she thinks she's the queen, but she doesn't have a crown. She has a conviction for murder, for killing her boyfriend, George Torres. But for some crazy reason, she thinks that conviction is everybody else's fault. She blamed the victim, blamed the court, blamed the media. The list goes on and on and on. She blames everybody else for the horrible problem that she, and only she alone, caused. So I say Sarah should get comfy in prison, because that is where she ought to stay.
I was quite surprised, shocked even, that when Tanika went to one of her recent court cases, we're going to take a look at that in a second, but Tanika reported that Sarah Boone thinks she's getting out. I guess, and in watching a lot of true crime, I have noted that lifers with, like, even Chris Watts thinks he's going to get out. So, I mean, maybe that's something they have to do to keep hope alive, is that, they have to believe that someday they're going to get out. I don't know. And some do. I have watched shows where after so many years, even though they have a life sentence, they get granted a pardon or something like that. So, I mean, I guess it could happen. And I guess looking at Sarah Boone, if anybody later on would be granted, if she lives a good life in prison, which I don't know how Sarah Boone's going to do it, but if Sarah Boone was able to pull it together and live a good life, I could see Sarah Boone being somebody granted it. Because Sarah Boone, for those that don't know, is the Florida woman who somehow coaxed her boyfriend into a suitcase, zipped him up, beat him with a bat, and left him there to unalive to pass away in the suitcase. He begged for his life, and she laughed at him and videotaped him. So that's Sarah Boone. And Sarah Boone was offered a 15-year sentence, and she said, no. I want my 15 minutes of fame. And that's what she did. She went on with the case, and she earned herself life without parole in prison. So congratulations, Sarah. You did that. You did that all for yourself. And she continues, as we're reporting, to do that. She's trying to get an appeal lawyer, and she just can't seem to do it to save her life. Can't get an appeal lawyer. Anybody? Where's the guy that helped her out? To get her one lawyer, she wrote this help wanted ad, and she got him at the last minute, but the judge was like, yeah, you're not getting any extra time. We're going to trial as scheduled, because I think she sat in prison for 4 years leading up to this. So anyway, that's Sarah Boone. And oh shoot, this was the one I wanted to show you with Dan Markle taking a ride. Oh, well, we'll move forward. So we're going to take a look at this person. He's talking about what's really going on with Sarah Boone in prison. No, we'll go back to that. Let's go to Tanika. We'll go to actually Emily, because she's the one talking. I'm off now. I skipped over. I had some things mixed up. I had more stuff I wanted to talk about Adelson, but I just went right into Sarah Boone. So we're going to stick with Sarah Boone. And sticking with her losing the 13th lawyer, let's look at some Emily Baker and see what she has to say.
Quick. about what's going on in Florida with Sarah Boone. For those of you that are just like, what is the Sarah Boone case? I covered the Sarah Boone trial. It was another Florida case that ran quite long. Loved the judge. Sarah Boone has gone through innumerable attorneys. For a period, she was representing herself. Then an attorney parachuted in for trial and then parachuted right back out for appeal. She was convicted of second-degree murder for zipping her boyfriend into a suitcase and leaving him there. Her entire defense was based around not intentionally. I didn't intend for him to die. Yes, second-degree murder. The intent is not an element. You did the thing. The intentional was the zipping into the suitcase. And then she was videoing herself mocking him while he was telling her that he was unable to breathe inside that suitcase. It went to trial. She was convicted. Second-degree murder in Florida is also a life case. I don't know if she understood that or if she just thought that, look, I'm going to keep telling you that I excel at everything I do and it wasn't intentional and you're going to believe me. The jury did not believe her. And at sentencing, she was still trying to get something out of the judge, hoping she wasn't going to get a life period sentence. And then after sentencing, she was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to tell you what. And then she sent to the court the unredacted statement that she wanted to make at sentencing, telling the judge and all the lawyers what she thought of them. I think after we saw all the evidence, going after a second was restrained. So in one of the greatest miscalculations that I think we have seen, because the state was actually willing
Sarah Boone is known for her letters. She has written a lot of letters to the court. We have read a lot of her letters here on this channel. And it was basically, I forgive all of you, but F you at the same time. And she really laid into everybody, which, I mean, probably won't do anything for her if she ever thinks she's going to get out. I mean, her little final F you to the world probably wasn't a good thing.
Work with her, and she was not willing to work with them. She was convicted and sentenced to life. She is now going through the appellate process. The last time we covered it, she had written a letter to the court saying, hey, I haven't heard from my lawyer, and BT dubs, I have people contacting my lawyer every single day. Like, there are people blowing up my lawyer's phone every single day. And the lawyer did miss a deadline, got an extended deadline, and then is asking for another extended deadline. They have filed notice of appeal. They have not yet filed the appeal. So Sarah Boone wrote to the court. We covered that letter, but Your Honor, I haven't heard from my attorney. Can you make my attorney talk to me? And then we hadn't heard anything. So now that we've gotten the make my attorney talk to me, and the attorney filed a motion to be relieved as counsel saying, I don't do appellate work anymore. Take me off this case. I kind of side-eyed that motion because when I took the case, I did, and now I don't. And the lawyer didn't say, and I have 11 people blowing up my phone and my email and everything else on Sarah's behalf daily, and I can't handle this case. That's not what they said. But we have two rulings from the court, one from the Court of Appeals and one from Judge K in Florida. We're going to go over both those rulings real quick. This was filed on August 28th from the Court of Appeal. By order of the court, the motion for extension of time is denied without prejudice, as appellant has failed to certify that he has consulted with opposing counsel as required by Florida Rule of Appellate Procedure. I certify the foregoing is true. The lawyer for Sarah Boone asked the appellate court, can we have a bit more time? And then the appellate court said, no, you must talk to the other side. So they denied the request for more time, which means someone's going to have to file another request for more time and indicate that they've actually talked to the state. Well, guess what? We've heard from Sarah Boone's attorney. They asked to withdraw, and the judge actually wrote an order on the motion to withdraw. So let us pull that up real quick. This is from September 5th, Friday. This is from Judge K, the trial judge. It does say 2024. It's not. That's a typo. This was filed November 5th, 2025. Order on motion to withdraw and order appointing appellate counsel. The cause having come before the court on the motion to withdraw and request for appointment of new appellant counsel, and the court having been fully advised in the premises, it is hereby ordered and adjudged that attorney Joshua Adams ESQ is allowed to withdraw from further representation.
So the attorney is being allowed to withdraw. And so she is now looking for lawyer number 14, I guess.
September 8th. In fact, the newly appointed counsel for Sarah Boone has filed their motion to withdraw as counsel. So let's go take a look at that motion. They are trying to get out immediately. Like, hey,
okay, so lawyer number 14 is saying, no, not me, buddy. Let me out.
Thanks, Your Honor. Nope. Just immediately nope. So let's take a look together, shall we? This was filed 2:18 p.m. while we were streaming. I pulled this motion up before we streamed, but while we were streaming, this was filed. Motion to withdraw as counsel. Comes now, Rodrigo Curico moves this court to allow him to withdraw from representation of defendant Sarah Boone as grounds, therefore states the court appointed counsel on this case September 5th, 2025. However, undersigned counsel has accepted a position within the Office of the Attorney General's Office statewide prosecution effective September 12th, 2025. Excuse me, Your Honor.
I'm going to be too busy. Got other plans.
I'm actually going to work at the State Attorney General's Office as a prosecutor. I can't help. This is completely fair. Consequently, undersigned counsel is winding down counsel's criminal practice and resigned from the court-appointed registry effective August 8th, 2025. Your Honor, I pulled out. I pulled all the way out. I pulled out of the registry. You're not supposed to be able to even find me. I am going to the prosecutor's office. I am not doing criminal defense any longer. Sorry, but no. Because the defendant's case cannot reasonably be resolved prior to September 12th, undersigned counsel must withdraw from further representation. Undersigned counsel has not previously filed a notice of appearance. The court called and told you, and Rodrigo was like, nope. A week.
Nope, I'm going elsewhere. A psychic told me this was happening and I found another job. Nope. Just kidding. That's me just adding into it.
After the appointment, this attorney is changing their whole ass job. What is the luck for this poor attorney who's just like, I actually took my name off the appointment registry, so I don't know how we got here. Okay, thanks, bye. The court is going to immediately allow this attorney to withdraw because this is just what it is. I've wound down my practice.
Sarah Boone had a few other lawyers that was the reason. Like they couldn't do it because they had been a lawyer for George at one point, or they had something else where they weren't practicing, something like that. So granted, a lot of her failed lawyers, maybe a little under half of them, were for valid reasons like this one. It's still just very funny that now Sarah Boone will be on lawyer number 15. Can you believe it? Lawyer number 15. So as I mentioned, Tanika, we're going to go back over to her channel, and she did visit the trial of Sarah Boone, and she's giving a little what's what on what went down, and I want to listen to a little bit of it, and then we'll go into the new cases I want to look at.
Oh, my true crime.
Let's move it forward.
I appreciate you. And we're at like 23,000 subscribers, which is like bonkers to me.
Congratulations.
Mainly from the trial.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am, I just wanted to ask you a few questions about your affidavit. And
maybe she didn't go and it was just filmed.
Laser focus.
But I know she did go into one, like a couple weeks ago. She went to one of Sarah Boone's family court trials.
Right in on your expenses section, which starts on your page 6 of the document, and for the court's following of my exhibit, bait stamp page 46. Let me know when you're there, Miss Boone.
I'm there.
Okay. So this section here is going through what you estimate to be your expenses. The first question I had for you is, have these expenses changed dramatically since you started your incarceration in February of 2020?
They haven't changed because they've never started. It's just an estimate from going off of the canteen list.
Okay, so
somehow Sarah Boone believes that she should still be getting alimony in prison, which makes no sense to me. She doesn't have the child in her custody, and that's another issue. She believes that she's not been given enough time with her son, which I think she talks to him daily, or at the very least she talks to him a few times a week, but that's not enough for Sarah Boone, which when she was out in the free world, she probably barely ever spoke to him. It's been said that George was the one that would be outside playing with them or going to his games and stuff like that.
So they haven't changed because they've never started. So they're not real expenses. These are pipe dreams, right? She's filled this out so that she can demonstrate why she needs $1,000 in alimony. She's submitted no case law that supports that once you're imprisoned, you get alimony, because there isn't any. Like, the state of Florida is taking care of you, ma'am. Yeah, so she's just made up some numbers.
From February of 2020 until today, you have not actually incurred any of these expenses that you've listed on your financial affidavit. Is that correct?
You're asking me from when I was at Orange County
Yes.
to the present day.
Yeah, I asked you the question about these expenses, and you said you mentioned something that you haven't actually incurred these expenses yet. So that's what I asked a follow-up question to that of, are you telling me that since you started your incarceration in Orange County in February of 2020 until today, have you actually not incurred any of these expenses that you've listed here on your financial affidavit?
What do you mean by incurred, please?
I mean, I've always been a straight A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son. I excel at everything.
Have you had to pay them?
Have I had to pay for food? Yes, I have.
Okay. So has it stayed, though? My first question to you, though, in which you answered it in a different way, so I want to answer it again. Ask you again: is
it's possible to spend $1,000 a month in, or a week? I don't know if she's asking for 1,000 a month, 1,000 a week. Is it possible to even spend that much? I bet it probably is. I think prison's really expensive, but you can't keep all of that in your cell, or they think that you're turning into a store. So.
For example, you have here on your financial affidavit that you filed in 2025 that your food expense is $250. My question is, has that number gone dramatically up or gone dramatically down, or has it stayed relatively the same since you started your incarceration in February of 2020?
I don't know or remember in regards to my incarceration 5 years ago, but I know for the current time, this is just an estimate because the prices fluctuate. So as of right now, it's about the same.
Okay. Now, does the facility that you're incarcerated in, does it provide you meals for free?
It does.
Okay. Does it provide you breakfast, lunch, and dinner for free?
Yes.
Does it provide you any other meal times other than those 3 times for free? Snack times or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Does it provide you things to drink for free?
Water, yes.
Okay. So when you indicate here that you have a estimated food expense as of May of 2025 of $250, what is that for?
That is for my low blood sugar, which the petitioner is aware that I have ongoing. I need to maintain my blood sugar. My grandfather died of diabetes, and I have to maintain that with snacks and in between meals. Some of the meals are.
Now, I hate to stereotype anybody, particularly a fellow sister, but I would like to imagine that Judge Jackson has some diabetics in her family. I could be wrong. Like I said, I hate to stereotype. Even if she doesn't, I think we all know snacks are not what you use to manage your blood sugar. I don't know what her granddaddy had, but I'm pretty sure honey buns was not what the doctor prescribed. But she's going to call them medical snacks, medical later, so just buckle up.
Of course, unappetizing, and my stomach is not able to handle.
Let me go back.
That is for my low blood sugar, which the petitioner is aware that I have ongoing. I need to maintain my blood sugar. My grandfather died of diabetes, and I have to maintain that with snacks and in between meals. Some of the meals are, of course, unappetizing, and my stomach is not able to handle them properly, so I either do without or would fall back on something that I could order or purchase from Canteen.
How is that Brian's problem? Have you talked to the nurse, the doctor? Are they prescribing the Zuzus and WhamWhams? Is this
I feel
self-diagnosed?
like everything's Brian's problem and her son's too, because Sarah Boone is a problem. She's just a problem.
Most. My great grandma had diabetes. Is that something you can die from? Specifically, she, I think, died of old age. But she
Aren't
was
you supposed to, when you have diabetes, avoid sugary stuff? Like if it drops to like gets weird, you know, you get orange juice or something, but you're supposed to, they're finding like diabetics are doing so well on keto diets and the carnivore diet. It's just really good for their bodies. I actually, my body does really well. I'm not diabetic, but on the keto diet, because I'm finding that carbs and certain, well, the junk food makes my body inflamed, and it makes me ache, and it makes my back hurt, and I can't move when I eat certain foods, and it makes, it's just horrible for me. And so, but I only knew one person with diabetes, and he was actually the person that ruined my life at the end. Anyway, I didn't know too much about him. I just knew that he was diabetic. He had to avoid sugar, and he did like the keto diet. So
diabetic. Now, she would take a glass of orange juice when her blood sugar was low, like for a quick boost. She did have some strokes when it got a little too low, but snicky snacks, Zuzus and Wham.
Well, and another thing, the boozy booze that Sarah pickled herself, and that couldn't have been good for her diabetes if she's diabetic.
That was not on her list.
And are you actually incurring this expense in purchasing additional food above and beyond what the prison is offering you for free?
I have from contributions, yes, but on a regular basis, no.
Okay, explain to me these contributions. What are you talking about when you say from contributions?
Do tell.
I have a friend that will deposit money in my account on a rare instance when she has an extra or something spare.
Who's the new friend? Because it's not Lana. Lana passed away, so I wonder who the new friend is. I thought she had a male friend too, but she said she. So who's the new female friend?
So I hope the Flying Monkeys are watching this. She's deduced your collective, what is it when you fly together? Flock. She's reduced your collective flock into one person who gives her money on a rare occasion.
And I wonder who she, in her mind's eye, that one person was. You know, like who's the most important in that flying flock? Because I thought she had a few of them. And who is? We know it's a female. So who is it? Who is it?
So that would have been Lana, who is now deceased. Christina, who's scraping by, sending her money, sending Sarah money, sending her trafficker / boyfriend money. Nicole, Peter, obviously her brother Philip, but she is going to give him a shout out. So who else was giving her money? The LaFontaines have given her money. Chaplain has given her money. They've all been reduced to one friend who on occasion. So how did she get to the $250?
I bet you in her mind's eye it was Lana that she had in her mind's eye. What do you guys think? Of all those friends, I think it was Lana, and Lana's passed on, which makes me so sad. Lana would reach out to me occasionally over on Facebook. I didn't talk to her too much because I feel weird about talking to people that I report on. Like the same thing happened with Nicole Atkinson. I feel weird chit-chatting with her and not that she tries to chat with me or anything, but I just don't feel I don't feel comfortable trying to talk to her too much behind the scenes because I want to freely be able to report on her. And it does make you feel weird or different when you're reporting on someone right in front of somebody. So, and you're talking to them too. So I don't know how some of the celebrity reporters do it, but actually I do know how they do it. Then they become biased and then they don't do it. So I want to continue to do it. I wanted to, and then Lana passed away, which made me really sad.
That's what she would like to have. And if so, how is that Brian's problem? She wants to take money out of her son's household so that she can have Zuzus and wham-whams. Does that sound...
also a common tactic of people who want you to stop reporting on them? They will try to befriend you. So yeah, there's that too.
Sound just or fair to anybody? Let me know. I'm not being facetious. To me, it sounds selfish, but like, as a mom, I would give my child, if there was one piece of bread left, I would give it to my child before I would eat it.
Most moms would.
But I get everybody's not built like that.
Yeah. Any other contributors?
I say most because it's sad.
My brother, when he's able to.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, this food expense is not for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It is for supplemental food that you believe is appropriate due to your blood sugar. Is that accurate?
Yes, and also in regards to the meals not being able to be digested properly.
So everybody else in the prison can...
She's saying this with her full chest too. Yes. Yes.
Digest it properly, but
also,
you. So is this another medical issue? Are you, maybe your liver and kidneys are like, girl, we've had enough? I need details.
Okay.
Primarily for medical reasons.
And then you have on here another charge of $100, or another expense of $100 for gifts for holidays. Is this for gifts for your son?
Yes, that's under child expenses.
And is this $100, are you asking that Mr. Boone pay you this so that you can give gifts to your son?
Would he be paying the alimony arrearages or any dollar amount? Yes, I would like to have that deducted from that dollar amount because I don't have income on a regular basis.
Okay. So you want your husband to give you alimony so that
My
you can...
ex-husband.
You're right, excuse me. You want your ex-husband to continue...
Ex, come on. He's your former husband.
Do you hear like the tone in this guy's voice? Like, so let me get this straight. All right. You want your husband X because I'm a straight A student. So I'm somebody who must correct everybody's little error. X. Okay. Yes, you're right. X, or forgive me, X. So you want him. Jeez.
Right, Sarah.
Give you alimony so that you can then turn around and purchase gifts for your son on your behalf because you cannot purchase those gifts because you're incarcerated. Is that correct?
My alimony payment can be spent however I make or decide how to do so. And yes, I would like to include my son for gifts on holidays or just because I love him. Yes.
That's the entitlement. My alimony can be used however I want. No, ma'am. What we're trying to figure out is, what do you need the alimony for, right? Like, you've got it backwards. You put in the cart before the horse. The horse is the need for alimony. The cart is then you spend it on what the need was based on. You don't need to send your son gifts. You don't need to take money out of his household to redirect it to gifts that are probably inappropriate. See also fish soap from the text messages.
That would be a part of my disbursement of my alimony.
Do you think it's fair for Mr. Boone to give you money to purchase gifts for your son that you can't afford to purchase because you're in jail? You think that's fair?
Because you've murdered your boyfriend.
To him?
Alimony, yes, that would be a part of my disbursement of my alimony.
Do you think it's fair for Mr. Boone to give you money to purchase gifts for your son that you can't afford to purchase because you've...
Oh, it looks like I can see Brian back there. And yes, he does look a lot better. That might be Tanika right there. Because I think what's happening is Tanika was there. She's just rewatching it. She got the court video. Oh, wait, no, that's probably maybe Brian right there. But either way, if that is Brian or this is Brian, I think this is Brian. He does look a lot better.
In jail? You think that's fair? To him?
Alice is court ordered, which is unfair that I have to not be paid what I could have been paid.
Okay. You also have on here that you have a $200
But we're here to determine if it will continue to be court ordered, and if so, at what amount. And she's not substantiating that. Like, gifts, girl, because you're in jail and can't have a job in prison? No, ma'am.
communication charge. Is that for the phone calls that we've been talking about?
That's for all of the communication opportunities that have not been taken advantage of by the petitioner. It's not just phone calls. It's video visits, videograms, cards. It's a multitudinous amount of technology.
Multitudinous amount of technology. So video visits, maybe videograms. Is that like, what is that one? Not OnlyFans. Oh my God. What is that app where Cameo? Is it like Cameo? Like you just sent him a little like, hey, I was thinking about you. Why should Brian have to pay for that? And I would say if we're doing video visits, then let's do those instead of in-person visits. Can I get an amen?
That is available to be utilized if decided to.
Every effort, every expense that's been incurred. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to finish your point?
No, I was just stating that it is located in my exhibit, so you all are aware of the opportunities and the cost.
Okay. I want to be clear, though. Every expense related to you communicating with your son, since you've been incarcerated, Mr. Boone has paid for that. Is that correct?
It's my only form of ability.
Ma'am, answer the question. Has what your communications with the child been paid for by Mr. Boone since you've been incarcerated?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Next question.
You have a $50 charge here for clothing.
Okay. Uh-oh. Did you guys see that?
Oh, I guess this is where she arrives. Let's see. She says she's arrived.
I snuck in right there.
Where? I didn't see it.
Since you've been incarcerated, Mr. Boone has paid for that. Is that correct?
It's my only form of ability.
Ma'am, answer the question. Has what your communications with the child been paid for by Mr. Boone since you've been incarcerated?
Yes.
Okay.
Next question.
Yes, there she is.
You have a $50 charge here for clothing.
It was very quick. I'm in the pink.
Of course.
I've arrived. Okay.
Does your prison provide you with clothing?
Yes. The prison provides uniform.
Okay. And then you have $15 here for medical and dental. Does the prison offer you any medical services?
You have to have a lien against your account. To make a sick call, you have to pay for that. For dental, you have to pay for that.
Oh, I didn't know that you had to pay for this stuff.
Regardless if you have an insurance plan or not, you still have a lien placed against your account.
Okay. And you are estimating that your cost for that is $15 a month on your financial affidavit. Is that correct?
Well, having low blood
Okay.
pressure.
And then you have here other hygiene and writing items. Does the prison provide you with basic hygiene items?
No. The prison only supplies I believe 1.5 ounce all-in-one shampoo and body wash, toothbrush and toothpaste.
Okay. Those would be considered hygiene items, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
So
you have here a $50 charge for creditor Department of Corrections. Are you indicating that you owe the Department of Corrections money?
These are all estimates. And you need to please remember that I am new to DOC and don't understand, but I do know that we see draws from everyone's account every week. So depending on how much money you have in your account is how much they deduct from your account. This was just an estimate. I'm not even sure how they go by what they do, but this was what I was told to do from one of the classification officers.
So classification officer is helping you fill out your financial affidavit. It's pay to play in Florida. Like it was $270 a day in jail. I don't remember what it is in prison. But again, why should Brian have to pay because you murdered your boyfriend?
It sounds to me like this goes on where Sarah Boone is just going back and forth, trying to get more and more money from Brian Boone. We'll keep an eye out on that, but we're going to move forward and we're going to introduce some new Florida woman cases. Guys, could you just check and see if you clicked the thumbs up button for me? If you already have, that's fine. If you click it again, then I lose that like, so just don't touch it if you've already done it. But if you haven't, if you could just show me some love by clicking that thumbs up button, that would be great. Today, we're coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So hi, everybody. Just show me that love and that platform that you're watching me on. And so this new case that we're going to be talking about is an OnlyFans Florida murder case. An OnlyFans model named Courtney Clenny was charged with second-degree murder in the 2022 for the fatal stabbing of her boyfriend at their Miami condominium. Claney, who had a large social media following under the name Courtney Taylor, claims she acted in self-defense. So we're going to take a look at this case on Florida Woman Friday.
Welcome back. The OnlyFans model who claimed that she murdered her boyfriend in self-defense was back in court today. But she wasn't alone. Her parents and former co-defendant.
Who's heard of this case? I'm actually, I've seen it sort of, but this is just sort of an introduction for me.
Joined their daughter at today's hearing.
NBC6's Christian Colon joined us from court with a report.
Former OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny in a red jumpsuit as she faces a second-degree murder charge for stabbing her 27-year-old boyfriend, Christian Abumseli. Courtney's parents, Kim and Deborah, were also in court. Initially, the pair was facing charges for breaking into the victim's laptop. However, those charges were dropped 2 months ago. A judge ruled prosecutors violated the Clenny's privacy by accessing family attorney conversations in their iCloud accounts. Now the parents want their iCloud data back.
That's private financial records, medical records, communications with your spouse, communications with your attorney.
The Clenny's iCloud data is in a hard drive held by the court.
I don't know how they are accessing it.
Prosecutors want to look through it, claiming there could be evidence against Clenny on the murder case.
Mr. Abumseli's mom wasn't on the phone 7 weeks ago. The defendant's mother was.
Prosecutors say Clenny's mom was communicating with their daughter around the time of the murder. Therefore, they want to keep digging through digital evidence.
It is a scary, scary proposition that a government agency thinks that it can wade its way into your private data in the hopes of finding something related to a crime.
But this time, Judge Laura Cruz went against defense attorneys and denied the request. Judge Cruz says police seize phones all the time if they believe there could be evidence.
Having read through... I mean, it seemed like quite a reach to me that it was a scary proposition to look to prove that they were having communication with this person. It sounds to me like it happens doesn't sound weird to me. Does it sound like a breach of somebody's personal information? I mean, how else are they going to investigate it? But let's look at another videos to see if we can get who the entire case, an overview of the entire case. So hold on one second, you guys. Oh, it looks like there's a documentary. Let's see what the documentary is about. This is just the introduction, so it'll give us the overview of the case. Those circumstances where the female was the aggressor in the relationship and he was being abused by her, and it ended up in his death. Kardashians and a lot of those shows, even though I indulged in them back in the day, did a lot of damage on society. It made people practically want to sell their soul to get that type of fame and fortune. And even today you see kids, like, I think I watched a show just the other day where becoming an influencer is very top on us. This is Florida Women Friday, where we're covering the Florida cases. We've gone over Stefan Sterns, we went over Sarah Boone, we went over Donna Adelson, and now we're introducing some new Florida cases. This is the Courtney Clenny case, the model who unalived her boyfriend.
Originally, OnlyFans was touted as a way for content creators of all stripes to
Actually, OnlyFans, so we'll just call it. I mean, he became her personal assistant, which tells me he was a caregiver.
A very attractive man. He was tall, he was in shape.
A lot of women are looking for, he's very masculine, but he seemed like he was very, he had that, his care button had been flipped on, and he was caring and kind on top of it. Issues to accept that kind of treatment. Something had to have happened in his life that he would accept treatment where a woman, he would allow Courtney to treat him the way, because I have heard some of their phone tech or their audio messages, and
when we first meet.
Oh, well, a self-assured man isn't his style. Okay. That would come up and reach out his hand to him and acknowledge him instead of like not meet eye contact and just ignore the father. The new cases that we weave into our Florida Woman Friday. What do you guys think? I think it's a really interesting case that I'm excited to follow. Hold on one second. Let me. So a trial date is set for the OnlyFans model for December 1st, 2025. This is the latest in a series of developments for the case, which have been in progress since Courtney was charged with this second degree in 2022. Some key issues leading up to the trial. There's some controversy, including prosecutors. In May 2025, Clenny's defense attorney argued to have the entire Miami-Dade State Attorney Office disqualified from the case. It looks like this motion was filed after it came to light that a prosecutor had accused accessed privileged defense documents. A judge's decision on this motion was expected during the summer of 2025. Conflicting accounts of events. While Clenny claims she acted in self-defense, throwing a knife at her boyfriend from a distance, prosecutors allege that the fatal wound was caused by a forceful downward thrust of the sharp instrument. Contradicting her account, there's abuse allegations from both sides. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a possible December trial. What do you guys think about this case? What do you think about all of these cases, really? I mean, Florida cases, in my opinion, are some of the best cases that are out there. They're very fascinating. They have a little bit of crazy to them that I appreciate, little tinge of crazy, little spice of crazy, if you will. And I appreciate a little bit of spicy crazy. I'm a little crazy myself, safe crazy. But I do like to delve into, I liked, the reality TV, Sister Wives with the little spicy crazy in it, interesting, but still crazy. John and Kate plus 8 was always a fascinating watch for me. So those type of things. And I feel like the Florida cases, they scratch that kind of crazy itch I have. So hopefully they do the same for you. At the same time, they're very tragic, and our hearts lie with the victims. But I'm a Gen Xer, so I deal with my trauma with humor. So we all do it some way. Some cry, some laugh. I do a little bit of both. So, okay, guys, that is all I have for today. I have a walking date with Miss Rosie. We're going to walk and plot our lives and maybe get some exercise in. So happy Friday, you guys. I hope you go out there and you enjoy the day. The world's kind of crazy. Nah, the world is crazy. So focus on you, make your life better, and then, go from there. When I talk about this intense kind of stuff, I make sure to, touch grass, go out, walk with my friend, watch little puppy interviews, videos where their lives are saved, or they save somebody's life, or, nature videos or something. Whatever you enjoy doing, whatever is peaceful to you, I urge you to do that in this day and age, because life is pretty crazy and you don't need to be crazy too, right? So protect your inner peace, because it's your inner gold. And if nobody's told you this today, and Diva, I'm glad you were able to join us, and Steph D, so good to see you. And for those that are in the outer regions, hello, hello, hello. We did come to you today on Instagram instead of Twitch. So welcome to Instagram. It's so good to see you on this journey. If nobody's told you this today, and even if they have, I'm still going to tell you guys this. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you next time. And a big shout out to Wild Deodorant for being our sponsors today. We love fall vibes, and they give us every fall vibe that we want, and it's sustainable. I love you guys.
Miss my cue, but I had you for that day. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you.
Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. Helps me go out into the algorithm party out there. Bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out.
With you tonight, and it feels fine. Baby, I'm dancing with you tonight. Here in the blue, I'm dancing and falling out, hoping for some time with you.